All right, people, let's talk about that state of play. First of all, I want to say right at the bat, I wanted to give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to downgrade it to a 9 out of 10 for reasons that we're going to discuss. But let's go through the announcements very quickly, in order to, get talking about it. So the very first thing that we saw was Saurus. Listen, listen. I could not be more hyped for this game. Returnal is one of the best games for this generation. Cyrus is going to take that and elevate it in every single way. Look, I said I think I said this on the podcast with Podorok yesterday, but essentially there was not that much that I expected out of a Saros, because at the end of the day, I am expecting to see pretty much a Returnal sequel, right? And that's exactly what we got. But I think that there's a level of graphical fidelity that has been improved on in a major way. So that's what I wanted to see, because we all know that Returnal was a bit of rough around the edges, especially when it came to the character model. So I think that we're doing much better this time around. One thing that did bother me though is that when you look at the trailer, you can see his feet clipping through the cape. And if you're going to have a cape as a major part of the costume design and everything like that, you just can't have feet clipping through the cape. Like that's just very amateurish. But aside from that, that's just a little visual thing that kind of irked me. But there's a lot of time between now and March 20th in order for them to fix little things like that. So I really hope that they get to that, because that would be annoying if I'm playing for hours and hours on end and I can always see his feet clipping through when I'm running. So that listen, nitpicking there, absolutely nitpicking there. What we saw was amazing. Listen, towards the end, I will go through and actually look at the trailers, but right now I just want to have a quick overview. So amazing way to start the game. Looks like a 10 out of 10 banger certified already. Amazing, amazing game. Oh, and for people that always say that PlayStation does the whole third party, single player, narrative story, story over gameplay, like this is exactly the game for you. This is exactly the game that puts gameplays above everything. So, look, fantastic. This one is actually really exciting. I don't think people are as excited as they should be for Zero Parades for Dead Spies, but this comes from the developers that made Disco Elysium. I love Disco Elysium. I've got to say, I haven't like maximized Disco Elysium. I've beaten it, but I only did one particular playthrough when it's a game where you could really have like 18 different playthroughs. Matter of fact, seeing this game again makes me want to go watch other people play Disco Elysium, because I don't really want to get into the whole, having to go through the whole experience again myself, but being able to live vicariously through other people and see the different decisions that they've made, or just see what was possible through Disco Elysium should get me quite excited for this game as well. And yeah, this is fantastic. Also, let's set to launch in 2026, and that has been a trend for this state of play. The majority of the games had release dates or release years associated with them. A few didn't, but for the majority of them did. So that was really good to see. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Listen, an Xbox game showing up at the PlayStation event, it will always be just not right. While they say have a console, it's just not okay. I don't condone it for PlayStation putting the games on Xbox. I don't condone it for Xbox putting the games on PlayStation. I believe in exclusivity above everything else. And whilst I understand that Microsoft transitioning away from the console until they officially do it, I wish that this was not happening. Still, it is interesting to see that there will be a PSVR 2 support. And I mean, look, Phil Spencer did promise you guys high fidelity VR, like back when the Xbox One X was being announced, as Project Scarlet or whatever it was called. So I guess he's finally making good on his promise. Better late than never. Kind of a weird way to go about it, but it is what it is. Okay, Battlefield 6. Look, Battlefield 6 is already looking like the gigantic monster that is going to be, and the campaign looks phenomenal. So yeah, fantastic trailer, 10 out of 10 for that one. Then we get into the games that I think kind of brought the show down a little bit. Okay, now I don't mind remasters. You guys know that I am a big fan of remasters and remakes. Not necessarily this one, not necessarily Deus Ex or any other ones that they announced in this particular state of play. But I know that there's lots of people that have nostalgia for these games and people that want to try these games. And then there's like, can we be honest? There's like the posers, right? the people that like to pretend that gaming was better 30 years ago than it is now, which is absolutely not true. But it's like, okay, here's your chance to go back to the kind of games that you were playing 30 years ago and really see them for what they were. Now, honestly, you're obviously going to get the remastered version, but even in the remastered version, you can see the jank, you know? And it's like, are you really that gamer? Are you really that guy? Are you really him? Are you really the person that prefers to have those games? I don't think you are. I certainly am not. I don't think most people are. But if you want to prove us wrong, there's a lot of opportunities to prove us wrong, and Deus Ex Remastered is one opportunity to do so. Okay, then we continue. Halloween the game, don't really care. I don't care for Halloween. I don't care for horror games. I certainly don't think asymmetric multiplayer games are ever going to really be a thing that hit. But maybe this one will, prove me wrong. So it is what it is. I gotta say though, super janky. We're not gonna go through the trailer of this one, but super janky. I didn't like it. I didn't like the graphics. It is what it is. The last epoch. This one looked almost like a Diablo 4 kind of a thing. Yeah, looks okay, I guess. Cool. We'll see. I hope the people that like it, if you like it, I love it. That's what I'm trying to say. Then there's Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which is, I don't know, like we got Mario Kart at home. I don't know. I mean, is that too harsh? I don't care. Let's move forward. Okay, Neo 3 looks good. I didn't like this trailer though. I thought this was a really bad trailer. I really hated this one. The cuts, the writing, it was just way too disjointed for me. Again, we're not gonna go through the trailer, but I particularly did not like this one. But Neo is a thing that has a lot of fans, so I hope for those fans that they are happy even with this particular trailer. Okay, Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered. Look, if there's a game that was going to make me wish that remasters and remakes weren't a thing, it's probably Dynasty Warriors. Like, I'm sorry, I've never seen the appeal of these games. I've never liked them. I'm a hater. I hated that trailer. I think I hate that game series. I never played them, but I hate them. Like, I just hate them from afar. And okay, I'm going to introduce this one. Here's the reason why I bought this State of Play chain 9 out of 10. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say this because it's going to be slightly controversial. All right, listen. I don't mean to make this a East versus West thing, but I'm just going to say how I feel honestly. I'm just gonna put this to you, okay? I'm just gonna say it, and I don't mean to, man. I want you to misconstrue what I'm trying to say, but here's what I'm going to say. A lot of these Eastern games, a lot of these Japanese games have the same graphical fidelity benchmark as was reached in the PS3, and for a lot of them, they just don't hit much more above that. And that is super disappointing. Like, you're not even seeing PS4 level quality games. Again, PS4 level was Horizon Zero Dawn. PS4 was The Last of Us, I mean, at least The Last of Us remastered, on the PS4. And even that, even the PS3 game remastered on PS4, they don't even hit that. I don't even mean The Last of Us Part 2. I mean The Last of Us original re-release for the PS4. A lot of them don't even have the PS3 version of The Last of Us really like the quality benchmark when it comes to the graphical presentation. And listen, gaming is an audio visual medium, right? As well as interactive. So I'm sorry, but the visuals matter to me. They really, really do. And also the audio matters to me. And a lot of them don't even sound great. I don't know. I feel like there's like audiophiles, right? And they are like the ones that say, oh, like I want to hear like, I don't know, 1024 bits per second or something. And you're like, what does that even mean? And then there's like the video files that are like, oh, I want my screen to have like 14-bit color. And again, you're like, what does that mean? There's the photographers and they're like, oh, I want DCI P3 color reproduction. And you're like, what does that mean? But then you play games like this, or you just see the trailer of games like this, and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, that audio is sounding tinny. That audio is sounding like it's missing half of what modern day games are able to deliver. You don't know what the technical definition, I don't know what the technical definition for it is, but I hear it and it sounds, I don't know, it sounds like it was recorded through like a can of Coke. You know what I mean? Just teeny, ah, just like it scratches at the back of your mind, and it's just not pleasant. And I'm sorry, but a lot of these Japanese games, and not just the remastered, because right now I'm looking at the remastered on the screen, but not just the remasters, even like Neo 3. I look at the graphical presentation, I'm like, I guess that's PS4-ish level, like somewhere between PS3 and a PS4, I guess. But why isn't it better? Like, I don't know. And then people are going to say, oh, it's gameplay of everything. But I'm like, no, it really isn't. It isn't. If it was, games that put a lot of gameplay first will be, doing much better as a whole, not just like as an exception. Because people will be like, oh, what about Elden Ring? No, not just as an exception, but as a whole category, they'll be doing a lot better than they are. Graphics matter. Graphics matter to me, and sound matters to me. And some of these games, they're just not doing it, man. And I was watching this presentation, and I'm just like, this wasn't doing it for me. Code Vein wasn't doing it for me. Let It Die Inferno definitely not wasn't doing it. I mean, look at even the screenshot. It's kind of disgusting. Again, if this had been shown on the PS3, I would have been like, wow, that's so cool. Look how good it is. But when you look at it not as a PS4 game, but as a PS5 game, I'm like, wow. Bro, what are we doing? What kind of dev kits did you get? Did you get the Series S version of PS5 dev kit? The only thing I could think of is that these games are optimized because they are from Japan. A lot of them, or from the Eastern continent, a lot of them are optimized for the Switch too. So basically, what we're getting here is a game that will actually look rather decent on the Switch too, but blown up at like 77 inches or whatever it is that the size screen that you're looking at, and you just see the flaws. You just see the flaws. All I can say are the flaws. I cannot even see the gameplay for the flaws. I don't know. People are gonna tell me graphics whore, but I was like, bro, nah. And then there's this game, which is a game that I want to like in theory, but I look at this art style and they're like, oh, it's made by Pen, and I was like, you know what this game reminds me of? This is like, I feel the same way that I feel about the Concord in terms of like graphical art choice. Like, I'm like, nah, this doesn't look good. And honestly, here's the main character here. I can barely see him. This is like Where's Waldo, the action game, except it's supposed to be like something that I imagine is going to have some level of challenging difficulty. And half of the time I was watching this particular trailer, I couldn't even see the main character just because everything is like reds and orange and black. That's the entire color scheme. And there didn't ever seem to be any environment that they showed through the trailer where you could actually see that, oh no, it's not just gonna be this. There's going to be like blues and greens and some other environments that are going to be visually stimulating. No, it was just a whole bunch of this red, gold, black, landscape thing. And I'm just like, oh, I just did like the art style here, and it hurts because I can tell this is an indie team that put a lot of effort into it, and I just wish that person was there on day 20 and was like, we do water pencils instead, like watercolors or something. Watercolor has been done before. It's been amazing. Remember Child of Light? Child of Light, I think, was like watercolor, pencils or paint or whatever. It took that aesthetic, and that would have been a lot better than this grungy. This is just like grunge, and I just don't like it. It's the same way that I felt about Concord, where I'm like, you've put so much effort into the graphical fidelity of this particular product, and yet your art direction just sucks. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like these people have put so much effort into the authenticness of the technique they are using, the authenticity of the technique they're using, and yet it just creates a product that I just don't like. I just don't like the look of this. So yeah, that was also a letdown. Crimson Desert. Look, I don't even know what you expect out of this game. It's a massive RPG. Is this an MMORPG? Is it a single player? I don't really understand what this product is supposed to be. I suppose I should do some research on it. But it's interesting in that it marries a lot of like medieval aesthetics and gameplay, as well as this like high fantasy, almost science fiction. Not science fiction, but high fantasy, high technological fantasy world, basically. And that's going to be an interesting mix. The world, it looks expansive. Like, it just looks like like vast, like vast with a capital VA, small VA in capital letters, lowercase st, vast. That's what it looks like. And it just, I don't know. It looks like a game that might be too ambitious for the current hardware that we have. That's my only concern on this. I feel like on if you were saying like Emmanuel, this would be the new benchmark for a 5080, a 5090, properly well spec PC, then I could see it. I could be like, yeah, okay, this looks like it would be pushing the boundaries of that PC, really making you chew through all of the processing power of that particular piece of hardware that you've put together. But on a console, I don't know. You know, as far as the game, again, I don't understand enough about the game to even know if I'm interested. But it really does look like it's going to be pushing boundaries one way or the other. Will it succeed doing that? I hope so. I always hope for the best, even for these games I don't particularly care for myself. So we'll see how we were there. Now we're going to talk a little bit about these Pulse Elevate speakers because when I first saw them, I thought, I don't really get it. But then I actually thought about an actual real world use scenario for me that is personal to me. So, I'm actually interested now. Then on PlayStation Plus, we have Alan Wake 2. Look, I'm still not gonna play Alan Wake 2. I will download it, of course, because no, I will not download it. I mean, I will add it to my library because I pay for PlayStation Plus Essential. I may as well do that step. But aside from that, I- it is what it is. I think out of the new ones, there's going to be The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is going to be there. I think I've already owned it, so that's fine. Bandai Namco, Tekken 3, and Soul Calibur 3. I'm a terrible at fighters, so I'm not gonna, play those. But then there's also Cocoon at some point here. Okay, well, anyways, I don't think it says it right here, but Cocoon will be there, and that was a game that I was looking at picking up, and I never did, so that would be an opportunity too. And then I think there was another one, but it didn't really interest me, so it is fine. It is what it is. Gran Turismo 7. This is where the show starts picking back up and being good again, to be honest. And Gran Turismo 7 is a game that I don't play often, but it's a game that I just have such a deep appreciation and love for. And this comes again from a personal story, my own piece of nostalgia, which is basically when I came to Australia, I didn't speak English. So it was really isolating for me coming from a brand new continent, brand new culture, brand new language. It was really hard. And one of the games that got me through that moment of isolation was Gran Turismo 3. So Gran Turismo 7 was being like, ever since Gran Turismo 3, I never bought another Gran Turismo until 7. So going back is always much more about nostalgia to me than it is about actually playing the game and racing and everything like that. So that's just the thing that I appreciate personally. And so just for that, I'm really appreciative of this. And it has sold 100 million units as a franchise. That's fantastic and that is amazing. I wonder if there's any other PlayStation franchises that are going to do the same. Like, for example, Marvel Spider-Man, what's that at now? What is going to be God of War? Where is it at now? I have to check in, to see if there already have been other 100 million bestsellers on PlayStation. Because at the moment, to be honest, I don't really know. But yeah, fantastic. This one was an odd drop. The whole God of War 20th anniversary. I don't think the controller looks particularly interesting. They came up with a controller for the Ragnarok, which had the wolves on it, and that was much more interesting than this one. This one having the Kratos scar, I don't know. It just feels misplaced, especially because you didn't follow it up with a announcement for a God of War game, which was basically what it kind of like it hoodwinked you for, right? Because it did a PlayStation Studio announcement right after this. You're thinking it was going to be a God of War based game. But I'm kind of glad that it wasn't God of War based game because honestly, this controller just wouldn't have been able to live up to it unless it was maybe like a remasters of the original Greek trilogy. So maybe then this controller would have been good for it. But I don't know. I'm looking at it. I'm just kind of like, meh. It's just it doesn't have enough. I would have expected some more decals, something more customizable. It's a bit of a letdown of having to using the signature Kratos scar and sorry, not it's not a scar, it's a mark, but using a signature aesthetic and not having something a little bit stronger elsewhere in the design. I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe they should have had, the Blades of Chaos somewhere on the left, yeah, on the left handle. Something to make it seem a bit more special. I think just like one blade of chaos like impacted onto the ground, kind of going up this way, and then maybe you make it like red outline too, something like that would have been really, really cool. Maybe like the handle juts into the touchpad. They're just I don't know, man. This controller very disappointing. Okay, and then the star of the show, I guess the co-star of the show, the final bookmark to the show, the bookend of the show, Marvel's Wolverine. And I mean, this looks fire. This looks amazing. It looks. I don't even. I mean, listen. The art style itself is just gorgeous. The art style of this game. So not the art, not just the art style, the cover art is what I want to say. I want that case physically in front of me, So that's just how good it is. So I just want to go through two different trailers here. We're just going to do the bookends. We're going to do Cyrus and we're going to also do Marvel's Wolverine, just talk a little bit more about the details. PlayStation is asking me to type in my date of whatever it is so that I can see this trailer. Yo, nobody cares about this. Okay, all right, give me 1 second here. Oh, don't you hate these YouTube things? Let's put this at 2040p and then let's play this. My internet should be good enough to handle this. Oh, should probably lower the volume just a little bit. Yo, this opening shot, I was surprised. I watched a few reactions. I was surprised how many people didn't tell immediately this was Cyrus. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, okay, Cyrus is where we started. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. You're starting with the big one. Oh yeah, the graphical fidelity has definitely been improved. We can tell. There's just a lot more detail into the environment. And then I was surprised at how far back this frame zoomed, right? Because over here, this is kind of what I would say roughly the presentation was able to give you in Returnal. That's a very like weird thing to say, but maybe people that played Returnal enough have seen like, yeah, this is about the level of detail that we got. And then the camera just kept pulling back. That was so interesting. And it just kept pulling back, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Scan for Saltari signals.
Signal corrupted. Approximating.
I love this. Look at this. Look at this frame. It's crazy. It is insane. Now, I'm not too sure about the health bar over here. Bit of an awkward spot to put it, but I kind of wish they had the more. How did Returnal have it? I think Returnal has it horizontally rather than like a vertical thing. Obviously, it's part of the motif. I do like the minimap though. I do like the setup of the minimap, the little yellow things there. I do like the fact that his suit is very reminiscent of what was the name, Celine's suit as well. It's got like the two jetpack looking things, but this look like they're going to be very different. I don't think that he has a jump boost because these things are not necessarily pointed down, so I don't think he has like a whole double jump thing going on. I don't think I saw it in the gameplay, but we'll see. It's a cool aesthetic, and I just love this frame. I was just like, yo, these people have really turned it up a bit, and by a bit I mean like a lot.
Is that the thing from the ridge?
Confirmed.
You better stay out of my way.
I love that dialogue. He's just like, is that the thing for the rich? Like this dragon, is that the thing? And he's just like, you better stay out of my way. And I'm just like, I love the fact that he's just like pissed off, because Returnal had almost like a horror vibe. Celine was very brave and courageous, but she was also extremely fearful and extremely scared, because it also went into the whole personal story and everything, and she was put off by those elements. So there's times where you felt kind of like weakened by her psyche as well. This guy just looks like he's a trained soldier. He's just like, oh yeah, time starts over. It's a Groundhog Day kind of a thing. well, then that means I get to kill more people. He's just so pissed off, and he's just looking at this entire planet like, get the fuck out of my way. I've got other things to do. And I absolutely love that about him, So I can't wait to play this more pissed off male version of Celine. He has the name, and I just forget it at the moment,
How's it going?
but it's really good.
Creative director at Housemarque. Today we are thrilled to show off this first
Oh yeah.
gameplay.
So if you look here, you can clearly see the feet clipping through the cape, and that's not okay, man. That is not okay. So over here, I wanted to
Running on PS5.
reduce. Oh, this thing is just not working. I wanted to turn back a bit, but yeah, you can just tell that his feet are running through, are going clipping through his cape, and that's not cool, man. That's not cool. I wanted to use but it's the frame by frame controls, but it's not working on this version. I guess I have to open it on actual YouTube in order to do that. But it is what it is. So actually, no, you know what? Let's open it on YouTube. That way we can have that more granular level of control. There's no reason not to.
Gameplay for
All right, let me reduce the volume just a little bit again, guys. Apologies. Let's put that in 4K. Okay.
Saros.
So over here now, and I think this is at 30 frames at the moment. So yeah, you can see that just doesn't look good, man. It's very distracting. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Also, I would like his steps to look a little bit heavier, but that's just an animation thing. It's probably too late to do that. But yeah, because at the moment it just kind of looks a bit like he's floating on the surface,
Today we are thrilled
Like this part here feels pretty good,
to show
but
off
then
this
this
first
part,
game.
I just feel like he doesn't really have a lot of impact. Like he's just touching the floor and not really connecting with it. And this is something that kind of shows the difference between a Naughty Dog or even an Insomniac and a Returnal. I think that they still have, like 5 more years of growth before they can really give you that kinetic feeling where everything feels like it's the character actually moving through rather than a model just kind of gliding over and having a running animation
Play
disguising
for
that.
Saros running on
Because
PS5.
it just doesn't feel like his stuff
Saros
should be
builds on
heavier,
Returnal's award-winning action and tells the
but
emotional
it doesn't matter.
story
Fix that cape
of
thing
Arjun
though.
Devraz's
Like look at those
drive
legs
for
clipping through.
answers on the shape-shifting planet
Okay.
of Carcosa.
Enough of the cape. So over here, look at this. What is that? Yo, I just get so fascinated by the gameplay. It's just so good. I love the user interface when it comes to it. We also have, like a little map icons that shows you the enemies there, so that's really cool. Same thing as Returnal, but I just love the fact that it came back and they brought back the noise for the odd fire, which is just so gorgeous. I love that sound.
Here we show off one of our exciting combat features, the Soltari Shield. By holding R1, you can defend
Oh,
yourself
that's
and
up.
absorb projectiles.
I love that sound. So good. And I think the noise for the dash is also the same. So I love that the soundscape has some continuity between the games.
By absorbing projectiles, you can now hit back hard using your power weapon. By holding the adaptive trigger on L2, you'll be able to destroy enemies using Eclipse trigger.
Okay, so I think here the blue bar is your odd fire, basically giving you what we had before, and then you need to use the shield to replenish it. So rather than a time-based thing, it is a shield absorption based thing, which is okay. All right, it makes you use your shield more as part of your tactics. One thing that I've also noticed is that a lot of the attacks are a lot more they seek you a lot more. It's not so easy to dash out of the way, making the shield an essential part of what you're doing. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to just dash and melee as readily as you were able to, because there are not as many gaps between the projectiles from what I could see of the gameplay, which honestly, this is the first time I'm deep diving into this particular trailer, so I could be missing a few things, but just from the presentation that I saw, it really seems like the shield is a truly essential part of your kit, because the home seeking, the target seeking, the homing on the projectiles is a lot stronger in this game from what it seems, So yeah. And yeah, the active reload is back, which is obviously excellent. So I love that, man. Now, one thing is that at those obolites, yeah, it looks like they also drop money or something, and that's probably how you're going to get your upgrades. So they look like obolites to me, and you know,
Soltari
we'll see.
holocache detected.
Man, this frame is awesome. Again, this frame is something beyond the technical acuity that we saw in Returnal. Just how far it goes and how high the fidelity is. And his scape looks really, really good when he's not running. So there's also that, you know. So you see when he's walking, his animation just looks so much better when he's actually walking. Like it looks like he places his step down and he's just a lot heavier. There's something like that. I feel like Celine could get away with kind of like that skating on the surface kind of a feel because she was a lot smaller and slimmer in size. But this one, it really looks like his steps should be heavier when he's running. So anyways, that's just me picking and nobody cares, Emmanuel. Let's continue. Let's continue.
You can learn more about
Yeah, this looks amazing. Again, this makes it look like, you know, before they used those holographic things that were swirling, but it really seemed to me like it was because they didn't have the technical budget to be able to make them solid objects. Here it looks like, well, they were like, hey, listen, we can level up, and they have, you know. And the character model, even in-game, looks much better than before. Again, not the Last of Us level of perfect. You know, you can see some of the hairs is not exactly going to be, you know, winning any awards, but much better than Celine was looking. And that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see that glow up. And, you know, like 10 years from now, I think, you know, well, Housemarque will be giving everything, even what the graphics holes like me want to see, you know. So that looks so great. I like the chain around his neck. You know, I like the fact that this thing is spinning. I also like the fact it has a slightly different color. I wonder if one of them is for one thing and then the other one is for the other. I really wish that this was Celine. Like, if like Celine had been part of this world and she had come to this planet and then she had kind of left like some kind of like holologs, you know, for people to follow because she could somehow tell that certain things was going to happen. I would love it if this planet was part of the same civilization. Because it kind of looked like it from the opening shot, part of the same civilization of alien species that created the other planet. So this one is like Calrosa or something like that. In Returnal, where were we? Oh God, I forget. I forget exactly what the planet was called. Oh, that's embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah, I can't really my God, I can't remember the name. That's going to drive me crazy. I'm going to remember the name organically the moment I stop this video. That's what's going to happen.
Forget.
Hold on for me. I will find you.
Yo.
I promise.
Yeah, see, no double jump right there. That looks like a turret, but like a beefed up version. Yep. That's what you call the fuck-up shot. That's just the piece right up. That looked like a melee attack to me, but I could be wrong. I really like the melee though, so I really hope that we have one. Now over here, he's going to lose a lot of health, up to the point where he actually dies. But you're going to see a lot of these things. Look how much like they home in on you. Like, bro. Like these ones especially. Like that's tricky. That's really hard to do without that shield, you know. So he's letting himself be hit here so that we can see the death mechanic. Yep, and I like the whole beeping, exactly like Returnal.
Chance where you can be revived on first death to get straight back.
Oh, that is so hard. Again,
Second chance.
this man is so pissed off. He's just like, did you just kill me? Nah, bro.
Where you can be revived on first death
Oh,
to get straight
yes.
back into the
And that fist to the ground.
This is part of our
That's so cool.
systems, which means you
Again, he's just so pissed. He's like, you know what he is like? He's like sci-fi Wolverine, basically. He's just pissed off, aggressive, and he's just relentless. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think he's going to, oh man. Playing as this guy is going to be amazing. I think it's like Arvin something. Oh, wow, blah. You know, and fantastic. Can't say enough about it. And then the boss, the BOSS. And I think these are skulls rolling out. Like this guy was in a spa of skulls. And I think these are like human skulls. Or I think there might be like what is it? There might be like the skulls of his own race. I don't know. But anyways, you can see here that this is part where again there's a little bit of just like getting away with lower quality assets here that I would love to see in 5 years. Return or move away from, so that all of these are like rendered at full resolution, because they look very muddy at the moment. And I hope that this is YouTube compression, and that all that is just one of the things that they will polish up by the time that we get to the game, because I really want all of these details to be showing through clearly, because when it just looks a little bit mushy, there it is. But then the star of the show comes out.
The sun is forever.
Yo, Housemark, you're doing great. Oh, you are doing great. Oh, I was supposed to take a look at some of these moments, Now, this is the thing that obviously pissed him off, and we're gonna have to kill it. Obviously, aim for the eye. Oh, this is gonna be so fun. Okay, now these environments are interesting, isn't it? The arches and everything like that. Um, that's great. This one is so cool. This is such a cool environment. It's just the machinery, this sense of like this. I don't know, man. That sucks. I want to play this. Oh man, I love the way that it makes me giddy. You just look at it, you just like, man, I want to be in this world. That's so crazy. That is so crazy. That looks so good. This was so industrial. These are houses. Did they used to be houses? Did they house people? That's crazy. And then this one, the aesthetic just changes so completely. And this reminds me almost of like a Halo level, but I just love that. And then the upside down skull and it's like stretching its head out. Yeah, I hope that the story in this game is a lot more direct than it was in Returnal. This whole kind of like pseudo story where you kind of like you make of it what you will, and no, just tell me like a good hardcore narrative that is just easily digestible, please. Like I just for me, it's a bit like Alan Wake. That's the reason I don't like Alan Wake too. It's too open to interpretation. Oh, what does this mean? Oh, let's go into art classes, in order to fully understand the story. And I'm just like, no, if I'm spending 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 hours with a game, I don't want to have a whole dissertation in order to understand what I was going through. You know what I mean? It's just too much time invested to not be clear on the story. If it's like a 10-hour game, then yes, you have absolute right to make it a lot more esoteric, a lot more kind of like elusive of a story, a lot more open-ended. But when I'm spending 100 hours in, I want to know that I have a solid narrative, Anything past 10 hours, I don't want this vague, leave it up to the player kind of narrative, or leave it up to like interpretation narrative. And that's, I think, the biggest failure of Alan Wake too. It's too much time invested. And at the end of the day, you're like, was any of that real? Did that happen? Is that true? What are the sequence of events? When I was doing this, was this doing it at the same time? And I just like, no, I don't like that. It's too much time invested to not be clear on what you're doing. For me, it's like storytelling is an art form, right? But when you take a look at novels, again, if you want to tell a short story that has a lot of open-ended interpretation, you can definitely do that as a short story, amazing. But if you're going to create a 800-page novel, we need to have a clear, direct story. There can be things that are left up to interpretation, but the main narratives, the main characters, their motivations, and everything else that happens, that needs to be 100% clear. And I just feel like Returnal kind of erred on the wrong side of that line a little bit too much for my liking with the storytelling. Like, is it like people were like, oh, was it Atropos? We were on Atropos, right? Yeah, I remembered it. Oh, I remembered it during the video. Fantastic. Okay, I'm proud of myself. Yes, we were on Atropos. But yeah, the world of Atropos, was that real? Was that in her head? Was this about the trauma that she felt as she had to save herself and abandon her child? Was it about her childhood trauma with her mother? How did that interact with the planet? Was she actually an astronaut, or did she not get admitted at all? It was just too much. I'm like, dude, I put 100 hours into your game. Give me a satisfying story, beginning, middle, and end. And then, because it's that type of game, have like a post-credit story that can be a lot more ambivalent and, a lot more vague. But the actual main story narrative, oh, that will be clear. I remember when I first saw the story about Returnal and how people were saying, oh, these events just really happen in your head and they are not like real. I was like, I felt cheated. I'm like, man, I don't want to play this in my head. I don't want to be some kind of like delusional person. Like, no, I don't want it to be psychosis. I don't care what happened. I want it to be real. So to be honest, I think I was kind of also hoping to confirm that Returnal was a real thing that actually happened by having Celine feature in this particular game and show that she was like a big part of Astra. And then maybe this person's like, is it Soltaris or Solaris, whatever it is, organization will like came from Astra, and he's just like a few hundred years in the future, and basically he was going to see like part of what Celine saw because she also got stuck in a kind of time loop. But hey, that's just fan fiction writing at the moment. But the point is, I want this to have a direct story, and I hope I made that point clear. Okay. Oh yeah, definitely a melee shot there, just punching people. It looked like no sword needed. He just punches people. Again, this guy is just so pissed off. I love it. And that monster, what was that? What is this thing? Bro, listen, could you leave some sky for the rest of us? Because you're just taking up the entire like skyscape. That's crazy. This is crazy. And look at this. You see this? There's no real way to get in between these without being hit, right? Like that's what I mean by your shield is definitely required. Okay. Oh, I mean, he did it without being hit in that sense because they just bounced in front of him. So I guess if you time it right, but it looks like he hurt him here because he's also in the red overlay. So I don't know. I think he should have used his shield, you know? And that almost looked like a parasite on his bike. On his bike, I said. On his back. Hold up. Yeah, you see that? That thing spreading from his back? That looks like a parasite. Oh, that would be so cool if the parasites are back. And yeah, this blue one here seems to be for your shield, and then this yellow one here seems to be like a parasite kind of a thing. Oh, that would be so cool if this is the new like visual representation of you having parasites. Like each tendril could be like one parasite part. That would be insane. Yeah. Listen, I would like a costume without a cape. I just find the cape way too distracting. Just one. I'll buy the deluxe version if it deletes the cape because that way his feet won't be clipping through material. We'll see what happens. And yeah, just Staros. I like that tagline too. Come back stronger. I like that. Yeah. That was fantastic. That was great. Oh man, I feel so happy. I feel so happy. It's so cool. Should you have a moment where you're just like, man, this thing just looks sick. It looks epic, And you're just like you're so giddy as a guy, as a guy, as a gamer to just get into these worlds and to just play them. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, we're gonna take a look at Marvel's Wolverine. I was gonna say Marvel Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is all news, baby.
The question that comes up a lot to us at Insomniac Games
okay.
is, are you going to make a Wolverine game that is as violent, as visceral as the character in the comics?
This one's a bit different. They cut it differently.
Working with Wolverine is interesting because part of the route to who he is.
Oh, this is behind the scenes. Okay, I'm. Let's take a look at the OG trailer. I'm not the behind the scenes one. Let me find the OG trailer so that we can have that. Da 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 da. Hold up. The gameplay trailer, right? Yes. This is the one. Oh yeah, peoples. We're just gonna wait for Emmanuel to fix everything. Ha ha ha. Alright, So let's go ahead and take a look-see. This should be a lot better. All right, let's take a look-see together. Huh? Come on, let's do this. Boom. Wait, this was also cut differently. Ah! I was watching the one that I saw.
Longer than I can remember.
There we go. This is how we started. Yo, the amount of compression on this is crazy. Is that just me? What happened there? Well, YouTube is doing this thing a huge disservice. Sorry, is it my screen or is that just me? Yo, the compression artifact in this video is crazy. It is artifacting like crazy. But here we are. Okay, so they talk a little bit about some of the blood details. There's the fur. This feels like they took he took this fur coat from was it the Hunter in Marvel Spider-Man 2? He had the fur coat as well. But the bloodiness, the shirt, oh my god, the face, even in between his teeth, like they pointed out. Oh, that's crazy. And then the look in his eyes, man. When I first saw this, I was like, yo, this is about to be crazy. This is straight up nasty. The way his eyes look, the way he's just so amped up. He looks like he's on drugs. Love it. Absolutely love it. That's the kind of violence that I want in the Last of Us world. Just put him in there. Let him tear up all of those infected. That would be crazy.
Just has a way of finding me.
Oh, this shot is straight up glorious. This should be on a movie poster. This should be in a national gallery of like 17 different countries. This particular frame right here. I mean, this is a glorious death. I mean, if you're going to die in a video game, be this guy. Die this way, because that is epic. I mean, this guy uppercut you and clawed you at the same time, and then it was just a blood fountain. Oh my god, this is gory. This is glorious goriness. This is, and I could write a poem about this particular frame. It's and it's visceral. It's got viscera. It's just, it's speechless. Plato could write plays about this. Did Plato's write plays? I don't know. But the point is, there should be homages throughout time to this particular frame, the kinetic feel that it gives you, and then just the sheer awesomeness. Because this is the frame that proves you that Insomniac is taking the gloves off, literally. And they are just bringing what, honestly, I would only expect in terms of violence from a Naughty Dog. I think that's the only PlayStation studio that has had this level of gory violence in their game in The Last of Us Part 2. And it's almost like they kind of, brought Neil over and they were like, hey, could you send some of your most deranged and talented artists when it comes to blood and viscera, the ones that you made watch hangings of people and, people being decapitated, those ones that are traumatized, could you send us our way? Because we've got a little project going on and we need people that could specialize in this. And Naughty Dog must have delivered, because I don't even like Wolverine as a character, to be honest. And when I say I don't like him, it's not that I don't like him. It's that I don't know him, because I didn't read comics. That's a very American thing. Didn't do that, so I don't really know him. Of course, I've seen some of the X-Men movies, and I also liked Logan, which was really awesome as a film. But aside from that, this would be my introduction to Wolverine as a character on a whole. So I did know about the violence, though, and the violence is... Woo! The violence is gorgeous. Oh, yo, this is one of these trailers that you just want to go through frame by frame. Yo, that jump is amazing. Yeah, this is a beautiful street. Just a nice, beautiful street in downtown Japan or something. I don't know. The slums of Madripoor, I think. Just cool, just people doing the little late night eating, and then boom, a Wolverine on the loose. Just fantastic. And they seem to have the blood tech almost from Ghost of Tsushima. because the blood splatters on the floor depending on the way that the character was slashed, it seems. So that's what that Ghost of Tsushima introduced the first time. Depending on where your katana was hitting, would determine the blood splashes, and it will stay on the floor for quite a bit. So I love to see that. That was also a glorious death. This moment right here. This is also a glorious death. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, are you just fighting cyborgs? Is that how they're getting away with it?" No, this is a human. I mean, she was a human. She just there's lot just beautiful. And look at that blood splatter. Oh, Lord, I'm so glad you kept me alive to see this moment, just to witness it. I just, oh, it's breathtaking. It's breathtaking. Oh man. And then the way they just drop. Oh, whip that up, and you see the blood splatter just moves in a direction that's very believable. Now, over here, this is where you're going to see that, man. First of all, the compression artifacts are crazy. But second, if this was a Naughty Dog game, every single one of these spices on the spice rack will be coming onto the floor. This is where you can see like the difference between the Naughty Dog and everybody else. See all of those spice baskets? Yeah. Now look at the effect. After it's done, they're kind of like empty, and the floor doesn't really. There's no real spices on this floor. They're just kind of like mad. They just kind of disappear out of existence. On a Naughty Dog game, all of these spice powders will be everywhere. You'll be looking at what's that level that everybody hates from God of War Ragnarok, where the girl has like the paintballs and everything? That's what will be happening to this floor. It would just be completely spilled all over. Because that's one thing I was checking. I was like, this is blue carpet or tapestry over here. It doesn't really get dirtied by the actual, spices actually falling. And that's what Naughty Dog brings to you, man. Listen, Insomniac is the best PlayStation developer this gen on merit of having released the best games and the most often out of all the PlayStation studios. But when it comes to graphical detail and people that just want like me to see everything push to the 11th degree, yeah, Naughty Dog is going to be the ones to bring us that. That's going to be great. Oh, that cut is disgusting. Oh, that is just. That's an orgy of blood. That's what that is. I mean, that person, she looks like she's suffering. Like, she looks like she's in pain, and her body hasn't even really like registered how much pain it's in at the moment. And then the guy does like an uppercut again. Just Infam Fontaine. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Oh my god. Now over there we get a shot of the background, of the city and everything like that. I love this. I love this idea, and this is unfortunately something that is happening too much in the real world, but the juxtaposition between the slums and the, mega rich towers and everything like that. In a video game, in a fictional setting, this is great. But in real life, I wish that this was not happening. The wealth gap between the wealthiest and the poorest is just getting out of bounds, just completely. Our world is going insane, and that's just in reality, So, but in a video game, it's a really cool aesthetic, This looks a lot like it was inspired by the favelas and with the colorful slums and everything like that. But I feel like a lot of places around the world kind of have this stacked up aesthetic thing. I love the tires on the roofs to keep the rain out. As a person that comes from Africa, in my nation was definitely more third world than developing. Is definitely more third world than developing. I've seen this tactics used. Feels authentic. Feels great. In a video game, not so great in real life. I wish in real life that more people were living, not necessarily in concrete mansions like this. I don't think like, for example, I don't really like New York. The concrete jungle. I think it's kind of lame, to be honest. But having kind of urban environments that could blend a little bit more with nature, that would be cool. Kind of like what Bhutan is trying to do. Yeah, little real world law. Emmanuel just wants, what is it? I want a sustainable way of creating buildings and cities that feel like they have a lot more of the organic qualities to them, not necessarily in shapes but biophilic design where buildings and nature can really stand side by side with each other rather than competing with each other. That would be cool. So if you could have like a biophilic design city in real life, and that be the model for cities going on in the next 100 years, that would be fantastic. And we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about video games. So let's go back to the video game. Oh yeah, he's dead. Oh, this guy. I think his name is like Omega Red. I don't know him. Again, I haven't read the comics or anything like that. I would definitely be looking at YouTube videos to see, some of like Wolverine's cast of villains and who he is and everything else like that. But I'm also just very happy to see Insomniac's version. One thing that I've always appreciated about Insomniac's games is that no matter how familiar you are with the content, they have their own twist, their own spin. Whether you ultimately think that they are the most successful at it or not, it is at least an original story. So that's going to be interesting to see him and what his motivations are. Yeah, that looks like he could kill Wolverine. Oh, I love the fact that they just when they brought that out, it looks painful even to him. I love the fact that he actually draws blood even out of him. That's crazy, and that looks sharp. That adamantium looks sharp, and yeah, the healing effect, the healing factor here looks great.
Not for me.
Yo, that's crazy. This guy is definitely going to die. Man, I love that look in his eyes. I love that look in his eyes. That's listen. The actor that played this also replaced Spartacus at some point, and he played Spartacus, and this is exactly the type of role he was made for. This is great. This is fantastic. Oh. Oh. Listen, the Grim Reaper would have quivered this game. We have this girl, she's named Mystic. Even I knew that, but I don't know anything about her. Oh. Yo, listen. Listen, out of all of the deaths, this might be the most unfortunate one. I mean, this is just total obliteration. Like, all of your atoms aren't going to survive this. That's crazy. Why didn't you pull off magma or molten steel? That's insane. You
Wolverine.
nasty. Disgusting. Feed it into my veins. Put it into my soul. I don't know what this thing is, but fantastic. Love it. Just... Oh, and the cover art is so hard. Ooh. Listen. J-Dub made this joke on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, but it was basically like he had like a state of play on the TV and he had like was it like Kirby or something with the pants down? Listen, my man clearly talks to PlayStation because he saw this thing ahead of time and he knew the kind of reaction it would give you. Because if this doesn't, if this doesn't float your boat, this is. Woo, and the artwork, I love it. I love how rough it is, how dynamic it is, how kinetic it is. It's just, oh man, look at this thing. You know what? Let's take away this camera. Give me 1 second. Look at this thing. Oh, you want to see that on the shelf. You want to see this. This is a poster. You want to see this on the poster. This is poster worthy. This is wall worthy. This is insane. Yo, they ate up. Also, oh, the Saurus cover art is also super amazing. Yeah, let me find that because really putting them, side by side. Listen, those cover art is I was just like, yo, this is the hardest thing I've seen in a long time. This one. Okay. I'm not sure how to make it like bigger, but take a look at this thing. Yo! This is crazy. Is that it's in 1080p? You know what? Man, let me give you a click. Let me give you a little bit of a visit. No, I want to save image as you know what? Give me 1 second. Over here. I want to be able to see it in full resolution. Let me save image as. And yeah, should have been fine. because that thing is hard. All right, let's do this. Yeah, we go. Let's full screen this. Look at that. Yo. This deserves to be on the poster too. Hey, you know how this could have, you know, the only way this could have been harder is if they had an N7 badging right there. That would have been, yo, Mass Effect. I need you to do this. I need you to create a work like Mass Effect, steal this cover art, and just put that N7 badging and armor right there. Just bring Commander Shepard back in style. Yo, that would have been, yo. Listen, this guy looks like he could be an N7 soldier. You know, he's just blah. This cover art is fire. It's fire with a capital FIRE in lowercase. That oh, that's crazy. That's insane. Yo, listen. I want an N7 inspired version of this costume. I just need that red stripe to come down the middle right there. Just right there. Just right there. I will spend $350 just to have that version in the game. Put that as a make that a microtransaction for $150. I'll buy it. Just- I want an N7 costume so bad. That would be oh my god. Could you imagine? Could you imagine this with the N7 branding right there for Mass Effect? Oh, this is so hard. This is cool. This guy doesn't need a helmet. He's just like my head is the protection. Yo. Oh, and I love the way that they've made him feel so different from Celine because Celine obviously was an explorer. She could get into combat and she could take care of herself, but that was her primary purpose. Her primary purpose was a scout, basically. She was there to go look at planets and basically document all of these other life forms and civilizations and everything like that. That's really what she was there to do. But this guy looks like he was bred for war. Like it was just like every part of his DNA was just put to just destroy things. This guy looks like he could fit in the Gears of War universe really easily. Where else could he go? He just the Mass Effect universe, especially the First Contact War. This guy looks like a product straight out of that. He looks like he could fit into so many even the whole what is it? Obviously, it doesn't have the build for it, but even the whole Warhammer universe, just kind of universes where war as a machine is what you're living and breathing for. This guy looks like he belongs there. Like he would just get up there and be like, "Yes, what's the situation?" And then eventually you just be like, "Okay, the Hive, we're killing them. Just point me at whatever it is that even the Terminator universe, like bro, it looks like it could land in the Terminator universe, be like, okay, what's the siege? And then just start killing, T-800s and everything like that. That's yo hard. This just oh, and then the way that he seems a little bit corrupted. Oh my goodness, crazy, crazy. That art style is that cover art is crazy. That's insane. All right, let's try to find a Wolverine, Marvel's Wolverine cover art over here, so that we can also marvel at that. All right. So I think this will be it. Do I have it in 1080p? No. Let's try to find it. That's crazy. I mean, this one isn't in 1080p. But it's not. It is not full resolution. Okay. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to, look for things a little bit later in order to find it. This one? Yeah, I think this one will do. Let's save that. Let's save that, and then we can marvel at that. Yeah. Okay. This seems to be it. Let's do that. Let's just boom. Bruh. Bruh. Yo. Yo, you know what? Let me tell you this. This cover art goes so hard that it looks like Alvin from Saros and Logan from Wolverine could together destroy everything in their way. Like, it doesn't matter. It looks like they could go into Kratos' world and kill all the gods together. Yo, this thing is so it's so clean and yet so grungy, so dirty, so mm, nah, that's cool. Yo, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. This I love artists. I absolutely love artists for being able to bring you all of this just amazingness. Oh my god. So here's the question. Bringing back to my controversial topic. Why don't I feel this way? Why don't I get this from our beautiful Japanese developers? Why can they bring things that are just at such a graphical level where I can just be so fully excited from that? I don't know, man. It doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, there's been some good examples, like Stellar Blade obviously looks great and everything like that. But as a whole, do you guys feel what I feel? Or is it just like sacrilege to be able to say, like, oh, Japanese developers are just really not pulling their weight nowadays? Um, because it's just what it is to me. I just feel like meh, you know? It just feels meh. That's crazy. Yo, yeah, let's just one more time. Look at these things back to back. Yo! I lied. I lied earlier. It's a 10 out of 10 showcase. Look at this back to back. Yo! These guys look like they would look at each other and be like, yo, if you piss me off, I'ma kill you too. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's insane. That is insane. In one showcase, one state of play. Oh, yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. It doesn't matter. All of the things in between, they dragged it down, but these things were already like pushing it to like 15 out of 10. So it doesn't matter if you take away 5 points, it still ends up being a 10 out of 10 showcase. I was wrong. I lied. I changed my mind. This is too freaking hard. Yo, that's crazy. Oh, man. Oh, man. This is like, I want to have this at the desktop wallpapers. Like, I haven't been this excited about like cover art. It's just, yo, is it just me? Is this just me going crazy? But they are so distinct, and yet both of them are just so. This is like if testosterone decided to like make a drawing, like an homage to itself. This would be these two photos. Yo, that's insane. Oh, they go so hard, man. They go so hard. Bruh. Bruh. Both in 1 year? Oh my god. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop talking about. I'm gonna stop looking at them. I can't talk. Listen, here's what I will say. This is the part of the PS5 generation that people will not be using against the PS6. When the PlayStation 6 comes out, and it's going to have obviously its own thing, and it's going to have backwards compatibility, we understand. But then people are going to be like, oh, you know, the PlayStation 5 generation was so great, you know, because we got Marvel Spider-Man and Cyrus in 1 year, then we got Intergalactic and this, and then I'm going to use the later half, you know, the way that I use the later half of the PS4 against the PS5. Now I'm going to use the later half of the PS5 now against the PS6. This is the part that people will remember. And they'll just be like, oh, look how many games we got. We got a Gran Turismo update. We got this. We got that. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm so happy. I don't know. I'm so giddy. I don't know how I thought this was the 9 out of 10 showcase. Because I look at those two games and it's just like, oh, I want to be happy for games, you know? And listen, there were so many other great games being put there. You know, seriously, Zero Parades is going to be an amazing game. What else was there? I can only think about those two. I can only think about those two. There were great games. There were great games. There were great games. Zero Parades was definitely great. All the games besides Zero Parades, and that's fantastic, and they were great, and we love them. But bruh, bruh, bruh. Ah, okay. Let's talk about the Japanese games. I want Japanese developers to be putting out games at PS5 quality in terms of the technical accuracy. I understand that gameplay comes above everything else, but that doesn't mean that everything else can be at PS3 level. To be honest, a lot of the gameplay also isn't even that advanced. Like I saw a lot of the games, I'm just like, I don't know what you're sacrificing graphics for because this gameplay is not it. It reminds me a lot of what is it? Of what was that game from last year that people pretend is good but it's like super disgusting? Metaphor Fantasio. Awful game. Looks terrible. Has the same gameplay as Persona, which was a PS3 game, and none of the graphical upgrades from any other, subsequent generations. Like again, where is that going? Where is the budget going? Because it's all going to your gameplay, because Fantasio was just Persona 5 again. And it's not going to your graphics because it looks worse than Persona 5 to me. And I'm just like, nah. And all these games from Japanese developers, honestly, that's the benchmark they're at. And I wish that these people would stop pretending that games are meant for Wii Fantasio were any good, because they're not. They're not good. It's not a good game. The story was shit too. Like a lot of people are like, oh, the story. No, even the characters were shit. I didn't like any of them. And spoiler alert from Miranda for Wii Fantasio. You know the mystery that they set up in the beginning where they're like, oh, they show you this person is evil and he kills that person. And then they're like, but is he evil or is he got more nuance than you thought? No, it turns out he is just that evil. And he's evil for evil's sake. There's nothing good that happens. Nope. Story is a letdown as well. So I don't know, man. Japanese developers, Square Enix, especially you, because you're supposed to be like the rock star of I would say the Japanese side, you need to bring your game up. You've got to have games that look graphically great. GTA 6 is going to drop next year. It's going to be the size of like I don't know. I don't know. Like the entire continental US, basically, in terms of land mass and geometry, and it's going to look amazing. So, why can't games from the Japanese look great also? And listen, I'll give Square Enix this. When it comes to like the Final Fantasy VII remake and rebirth, it looks at least PS4, at the very least PS4. But there's parts of it that did look PS3 from what I played of remake, because if you remember, remake, there were some parts that were really rough, extremely rough. I haven't played rebirth yet, but most of it from the trailers and from the demo that I played looked at least PS4 level in terms of graphic quality, but then the technical accuracy was also an issue where it just would look way too soft, and basically people had to get a PS5 Pro in order to bring it up to standard. But again, it kind of looked like a PS4 standard. I need you guys to really step into the PS5, really bring up your technical accuracy and your ability to create fantastic looking games at a great performance, at a great frame rate. So there is that. The final thing I want to discuss today is my idea that I floated about having a gaming sabbatical. I think I'm going to go on a gaming sabbatical. In fact, I've started it. I just turned off my PS5. I'm looking to not turn it back on for the foreseeable future, until at least I want to say maybe November or December. Take at least a 1 month break from gaming. And it's weird, right? Because I don't feel burnt out necessarily. I feel full. I feel fulfilled. I played this year so many amazing games that honestly were dream games for me. The biggest one by far, of course, being Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That game lives rent-free in my mind, and I'm glad to have its company. I love that game to death. Top 5 game of all time for me. And then I've just been playing Hollow Knight Silksong. I've got to say, Hollow Knight Silksong, I don't love as much. To be honest, it doesn't deserve Game of the Year. So, Hollow Knight Silksong, my updated thoughts. I haven't finished Act 3 yet, but it is a 10 out of 10 game in a 8 out of 10 package. And what I mean by that is that it never delivers the power fantasy. This was an issue with the first Hollow Knight, but I feel like in this one, I really wanted it to deliver a power fantasy. Is that just me? But I really like a power fantasy. And what I mean by that is, I understand that Hollow Knight has to be a difficult game. It is the kind of game that it is. But I want to feel substantially stronger at the end of the game than I did at the beginning, because for a lot of these upgrades, I had to suffer, man. And listen, I'm not a platformer guy. So it takes me like twice as long as everybody else to achieve, like a platforming challenge or everything. So when I finally get up there, I make it through the gauntlet fight. I make it through the platforming. I make it through some of the fights that I just absolutely hate. Towards the end of the game, I kind of want to feel like a god. I'm sorry, I feel like I've earned it in more so than in most games. I feel like I've earned it. I've earned the right to feel like I can, at least go up against like the basic enemies with some amount of just like complete destruction. Like, first of all, in Hollow Knight lore, what is it? What's her name again? Hornet. Hornet is a demigod. That's what she is. Like, I want to feel powerful. Like, I don't know, man. I guess it's just me. I guess it's just not the kind of experience the game wants to deliver. I guess the problem is with me. But I'm so frustrated. Like, I'm just dying to, like, regular things, or, like, everything that touches you takes away 2 hearts. And I'm just like, bro, really? I'm a demigod. Can I be powerful around here? At least towards the end of the game, like, I've gotten so many upgrades. I'm just like, bro, I still feel, sometimes I feel weaker than I did at the beginning. Because now with this, oh my God, listen, I'm not going to spoil the game for you. It's way too new for me to talk about, like, things that happen in Act 3. But essentially, I'm just like, bro, really? Really? I've got all these upgrades. Why can't I just walk through this area and have people bow down to me and my blade? You know what I mean? It just doesn't deliver that power fantasy. Another thing is that, listen, this is the me thing. I don't know why I love this game so much, even though it's a platforming game and I suck at platforming. But some of the platforming sections are awful. And I mean awful. And they're just tedious. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. Hard games are supposed to strike this balance where after you beat the challenge, you are like, yeah, I did it. And you feel this sense of accomplishment. And I've got to say, man, here's why it's an 8 out of 10. The first is everything I talked about before in my previous video. The map, the exploration is an issue. The run back, oh my God, the run back sucks. But here's another thing that I discovered, and reason why I'm definitely putting it as an 8 out of 10, not an 8.5 or a 9, an 8 out of 10. It's because the bosses, actually the majority of enemies, they are too fucking tanky. They just have they have at least 20 to 40% more health than they should. And I mean, on the 40% side, you have like the regular grub enemies, right? Those guys, they have way too much health. I'm sorry, like, again, towards the end of the game, I shouldn't be hitting you more than, like, I don't know, 5 times. You should feel weak. And there should be a substantial difference between a person that took the time to get all of the needle upgrades and all of the all of the damage buffing and enhancing stuff, and then a player that maybe they speedrun it or they just didn't get to doing as many quests. I think that makes sense, because now I'm thinking, wait a second, what if you don't upgrade your nail much or at all basically during the game? Then you're just gonna be like, yo, these things take like 20 minutes just to get through a regular enemy. So if I put in all that extra time, especially because a lot of these things require so much effort, just like the second needle upgrade, that thing takes so much effort to do. And every time I'm just like, I remember I got the first needle upgrade and I was like, did anything change? Did you like increase this thing by like what, 10%? But it wasn't easy. It wasn't just handed to you either. Like, you had to find like a mini boss. That was annoying just to get that upgrade. So I'm like, what's changed? Like, can I feel powerful when I like? There's only three, as far as I know. There's only three needle upgrades in the game. So that means that you have version one. After upgrade one, version two. After upgrade two, version three. After upgrade three, version four. You only get four versions of your needle, and I'm like, I want to feel a substantial jump in performance every time. If I only have four upgrades to make, I want each one to be like a 25% boost in the amount of damage I can do. At the very least, I would like for the first one to be a 25% boost, and the second one to be a 50% boost, and then the third one to be a 100% boost. So that I can just one-shot mother lovers left and right. That's what I want to do. The game doesn't deliver that to me. But then, listen, let's put that all aside. The bosses, some of these things, they're just tedious. I'm sorry. You know what I realized? I realized that Silksong is calibrated for the professionals. That they're calibrated for the people that have the skill set, the mindset to speed run through the game. This is why the speed run trophies are part of the platinum trophy. Because I just it hit me. I was like, I was watching yesterday after I just put the game down, and I started my little sabbatical. I was watching a person speed run through the game, and this guy was like deleting bosses left and right, and I was like, oh, the game is tuned for you and people like you, not the mass market people like myself that just want to be excited about playing, a game that they find gorgeous and interesting. No, it's literally tuned for people that have that skill set, that mindset, or people that can get themselves there. But I'm like, that's not enjoyable for me. I don't want to have that mindset of being able to like learn and memorize patterns so much that I can speedrun the entire game. I don't. I don't want to have that level of precision that is just so punishing, every single time that you get one thing wrong, and like every time, I think, for example, in Silksong, you have damage on contact with pretty much anything, right? You touch something and it does damage to you. But then the worst part is that both the regular enemies that you will just find all over the place and the bosses themselves, when you just touch them, it does 2 hearts worth of damage. And I'm like, it should do at worst just 1 heart of damage. Just for touching them, you take away 2 hearts? That's crazy. That's insane. And that's another thing that is juxtaposed. You have to hit what is it? These bosses or these enemies like 70 times. I think I counted to do the final boss in Act 2. It's like 70 hits of your needle. And this is already version 3, by the way. 70 hits, maybe 80. 70 times you have to hit them. 70 times. But at any one point, they hit you 4 times and you're dead. Because most of the attacks are either 2 or 3 hearts worth damage. And I'm like, bro, it's just punishing. And I'm just like, it's not enjoyable anymore. There's so many bosses that I played and I was like, oh, that was so fun. That was so great. The Clockwork Dancers were amazing. Trobio was amazing. Some of the other ones were really, really good. And then there's so many others where I'm just like, oh, thank God. And that was the majority of them. I would say 80% of the bosses that I fought, I was just like, oh, thank God I never have to do this again. I was just like, oh my God. And then, the moment I realized that this game wasn't made for people like me, is that I was watching this streamer speedrun through the game, and he was just like, oh, this game is so fun. I'd love to fight that boss again. And I was like, oh, that's it. This is like what a horror game or a horror film is to me. It's just not made for me. So even like a really, really good one, I won't appreciate because it's just putting me in the headspace that I don't want to be in. Silksong is doing that, but for, I guess, a platforming challenge for me. And I was just like, wow, this game isn't for me. And I'm still gonna, after my sabbatical, I still plan on finishing Act 3 because I'm stubborn like that. But when I put this game down, I'm gonna be like, wow, I'm playing this game again. I don't find it fun. I don't find it fun. And I'm sorry to say that because I love the game so much, but it's not fun. It's not fun. It's just, sometimes I'm just swapping at this boss, I'm like, please die. Like, die. What do you mean you have 3 phases? What do you mean you have 4 phases? Oh my God, just go away. I'm done now. I'm tired of you. Like, I'm just like, yo, ah, 10 out of 10 game. Absolute masterpiece, Silksong is. Wrapped in an 8 out of 10. I want to say even 7 out of 10 package. Because when I just think about the frustrating moments, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. And that sucks. Because I know it deserves to be a 10 out of 10, but I'm not the person to give that to it. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. That's my thought on Silksong. Anyways, it's gaming sabbatical. So I'm hoping to improve my fitness. Please don't be imagining that I'm going to be, you know, losing 50 kilograms and like bulking up like a Dwayne Johnson or anything like that. But I would like to focus more on other areas of my life, my fitness chief among them. So that's just one of the things that's pushing me to kind of take a step back from gaming. But I just feel so satisfied. I feel so good about what I've been able to play these last few years. And I feel like a break is going to allow me to recharge and to prepare myself for the awesomeness to come. You know, now I'm really eyeing, I'm thinking, can I go all the way until March and, you know, get Sours to be like the game that brings me back into it? That would be fantastic. But to be honest, I don't think I can hold on that long. There's so many great games to play, including smaller indie titles that I do want to get to. And then the backlog. Oh my God, the ever growing backlog there. That I'm gonna die, and this backlog is still going to have GTA 5. Still, I was supposed to play GTA 5 this year, and now I'm done gaming for the year, and I still haven't even opened GTA 5. That's crazy. Oh my God! Let alone GTA 6. I don't think I'm gonna get GTA 6 at launch. Actually, I know I'm not gonna get GTA 6 at launch. There's no point. I haven't even played number 5 yet. I'll be playing number 5 while you guys are playing number 6, maybe if I'm even lucky. But yeah, wow. I don't know. Fantastic state of play, 10 out of 10. Silksong is a masterpiece. If you happen to be the person for whom this game is going to connect with, it's going to be one of your favorite games of all time. However, if you're more like me, I think at best is going to be a 7 out of 10. Because when I just bring together things that I want to say, in Silksong, I'm spending 40% of my time frustrated at something. That's just the truth. I'm spending 40% of my time frustrated at something. Either I'm frustrated at the run back, or I'm frustrated at the lack of fast travel options, or I'm frustrated at the platforming challenges that I have to do, or I'm frustrated at the lack of being able to have enough tool slots and abilities. I'm frustrated about something. And it's kind of sucks that I took my gaming sabbatical in this particular mindset with Silksong. But I was trying this particular platforming challenge in Act 3, and I looked it up at on YouTube. A person did it in like 4 minutes, and I was trying it for like 2 hours, and I was just like, what am I doing? I just don't like this, you know? And then every time you die, you will start back at the bench, like the very beginning. I'm like, yo, why isn't there a bench halfway through? You know? And I was really close to the top two. I had done like 90% of it. I was like very close to the end. But then the end just requires like precision that I just haven't cultivated. And that's a me thing. I should get good, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I will do it because again, like it's not even necessarily like a particularly hard platforming challenge. There's been more difficult ones, but it's just one that's very long. It's just a very long segment, and you don't have a lot of chances to heal in case you make mistakes or whatever. So you pretty much have to do it flawlessly, and that requirement to be flawless on such a very long segment of time. That's the thing that really pisses me off, and I just don't want to do it. You know, it's not fun when I do it, and I eventually I do want to. When I do it, I'm just gonna be like, oh, thank God I don't have to do it again. You know what I'm saying? That's literally the feeling. Through I want to say 60% of the game, I'm just like, oh, thank God I don't have to do that again. I looked at some of the bosses that are going to be coming up just to see kind of what was ahead of me, and I'm just like, I just looked at him. I was just like, I'm just tired. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be fighting this guy for 7 minutes, having to be perfect and dodge all of his attacks while he just absorbs mine like a bullet sponge. I'm just like, and again, I'm like, this is endgame. These are endgame characters. These are guys that have gotten even the 4th upgrade. And then they're like, oh yeah, you know, this boss just takes like 10 minutes to beat. And I'm just like, boy, really? Really? And you know, the ones that people get put on YouTube, those are the ones that are doing fairly well. A lot of them have tried like 5, 6, 10 times before getting to that choreography. But for me, it takes me like it takes me ages more. There's some bosses that beat me like 20 times. I've seen a person be like, oh, I beat this boss on my second try. And I'm like, okay, well, this is attempt number 40 for me. So, you know, just, what are we doing here? Oh, no. I think Silksong is a game that I'm going to love to death from afar. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I am okay with not even completing Act Two. So Act Three. I've completed Act Two by now, but yeah, I'm just like, bruh, this is torture. This is not fun. And there's a certain point that where you gotta be like, boy, listen, maybe I'm just washed. Maybe this isn't for me anymore. So we will see. I'm stubborn. I want to at least complete the Act 3 ending because it is the true ending. But when I look at some of the things I'm required to do, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to be playing Cyrus, actually. So yeah, that's the end of my Silksong journey, So there it is. Okay. Thank you for being here with me, pretty much an hour and a half. So let me know what you thought about the state of play. Let me know what you think about this idea of a gaming sabbatical. Have you done that before? Are you thinking of doing it in the future? Does it sound interesting? So on and so forth. Let me know what you think about Hollow Knight Silksong. Even if you haven't played it, the kind of games like that present you with such a level of challenge and difficulty and demand such precision from you and are so unforgiving in that demand. Let me know what you think about it, because the only one that I can think of is maybe Cuphead. I've heard the same. I haven't played Cuphead though, so I don't know if it is even more demanding than Silksong is. I remember I played Dead Cells, and that was also quite demanding. But the reason that ultimately I didn't play Dead Cells or Celeste is I just didn't like the art style. The whole 8-bit graphics or 12-bit graphics or 16-bit graphics, whatever they're called, I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this. I just pixelated stuff. I don't want to play that. But I know that, having tried them, I know that they're also very demanding and difficult in their gameplay. So listen, real gamers out there that can play these games, that can speedrun these games and everything like that. Hey, shout out to you. I should admire you from afar. I play like the little league, and you guys are like the pro athletes, and I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly happy with that. So yeah, I will watch you stream the game. And I actually started watching a speed run of Hollow Knight Silksong, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, because this is like how the game is meant to be played, because it is tuned for these kinds of people. And I think that for a person like myself, it's just overtuned. That's it. Anyways, let me know what you think. Share your thoughts about this or anything else, really. I'd be happy to hear. And yeah, that means I'm also not going to be doing any live streams anytime soon. But yeah, we'll see how things go. You never know. I could change my mind a week later and be like, yeah, I'm back gaming. So who knows? We'll see what we do. All right, ciao.